Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Kowalski, Vice President of Marketing for All Seasons Resort Lodging. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch this year's rental presentation. We're going to take a look at our rental performance from last ski season and this summer, show you a preview of how we're pacing for the upcoming winter, talk briefly about our marketing strategies, and finally touch on some operational updates.
And I'm Chad Christensen, Director of Revenue for All Seasons Resort Lodging. Happy to be here with you guys for this presentation. With that being said, let's get into a revenue update. Looking back at last ski seasons, resorts moved to a reservation system. This led to more local travelers, which required a shift in our rate strategy. Also, Sundance was held virtually, so no group business over those dates. Most notably, Sundance Institute did not come. On top of that, we really didn't see any group business over winter at all. On this slide, we are looking at this past winter versus the winter before. You will notice in the 2019-2020 season, December, January, and February are moving along nicely and are even record-breaking. Then we hit March, and that is where we saw the resort closure due to COVID. Now looking at 2020-2021 season, the ski resorts are open, although with reservation systems and other restrictions. Also, groups and Sundance did not travel. You can see the effects those things had on December through February, and we only start to recover in March. Here we are looking at Shadow Ridge occupancy year over year versus the market year over year. You will notice both Shadow Ridge and the market saw declines, but Shadow Ridge showed a smaller decline compared to the market. March does not show the same gains year over year compared to the market, but Shadow Ridge beat the market outright with 63% occupancy versus 61%. And here we see the same numbers, but as a roll-up for the winter, so December through March. Shadow Ridge saw a 3% decline, while the market saw a 29% decline. Now looking into summer and fall, most events resumed, which was great to see. July 4th festivities ended up being canceled due to wildfire concerns, but even so, those dates performed well. Unfortunately, Math Group did not come back, but on the positive, we don't have them signed yet, but it sounds like Math Group is coming back next summer. For those of you not familiar, Math Group normally provides upwards of $150,000 in gross revenue, so we're really excited to have them back. Summer travel looked a bit different this year. Travelers were staying closer to home. National parks and campgrounds were getting overwhelmed with people. Drought and wildfires also had an impact. There were many days with low visibility due to smoke coming in from fires out of state. And also we had record high temps. With that being said, it would seem summer would have struggled, but it ended up performing very well. You can see 2020 occupancies and ADRs reflect a year that was highly affected by COVID concerns and events not taking place. Coming into 2021, summer started to recover well with great occupancy numbers and higher ADR than we have ever seen. Now looking at the year as a whole, we are forecasting 2021 rental revenue per unit to be down compared to prior years. While the summer performed great, the loss of groups and Sundance were too much to overcome. You can see in a typical year, group would have provided upwards of $10,000 per unit, which would have put us right in line with 2019. Now that we've talked about the past, let's look into the future. Here we are looking at ski resort operations for this coming year. No advanced reservations are going to be required, which is a great positive. Face coverings will still be required indoors, but I think the general public has come to accept the masks, although maybe reluctantly. Nonetheless, I don't think it will be a major deterrent for travelers. Also, PCMR is losing the capacity limits. The potentially biggest impact is going to be requiring proof of vaccination for certain on-mountain dining. I don't think this will be a make or break restriction, but we will definitely monitor the traveler's sentiment on this subject. Sundance is moving to a hybrid in-person and online format. Last year saw a 168% increase in viewership with their online format, which is a potential threat for future festivals. Market occupancy is pacing down 20% compared to 2 years ago, indicating things are improving but are not quite back to normal. Normally, we would have details about Sundance venues by this time, but that is not going to be released until December. Also, vaccinations are going to be required to attend. Some of the uncertainty here is contributing to the sluggish pace of the market. Fortunately, our relationship with Sundance Institute puts Shadowridge in a better position, since Shadowridge provides lodging for festival volunteers. International travel restrictions are loosening. Starting November 8th, international travel to the US will resume. Proof of vaccination will be required. Depending on the country, travelers may have quarantine restrictions upon returning home, which can discourage travel from those countries. Despite this, we have not seen an increase of international shoppers yet. Now, with all that being said, we can look into how winter is pacing so far. Spoiler alert, it's looking great. Here we see great occupancy gains. December and January are doing extraordinarily well, and February and March are right in line with a good year. Now looking at ADR, on all accounts, we are getting amazing rates this year. February is the one month that looks like it is behind in ADR, but we have to remember this is pace. So far this year, compared to the past 2 years at this point in time. So at this point last year, February had fewer reservations in larger room types. As time goes by, last year, February, ADR does decline, a trend that I do not expect to see this year.
Okay, thank you, Chad. Now we'll turn our focus to marketing. First, we'll take a quick look at our marketing strategy for the upcoming winter. One of our main focuses has always been on search engine optimization. It's really a core component to our strategy and is the best way for us to drive direct bookings to our website. This past year, we really focused on creating high quality content, which is the best way to signal search engines to our website to see the authority that we have on the topics that we're posting about. The higher authority, the higher you rank in your search results. Our blog readership is actually up 135% year to date versus last year. So I'm really excited about that. And hopefully you've had a chance to look at some of our blog posts. If you haven't, we would certainly invite you to. And if you ever have an idea for a topic, you can always let me know. Another part of SEO, search engine optimization, is the technical aspect. So the technical aspect of SEO is ensuring that you're showing up on websites, and there's also some extras that you can take advantage of. So when you search on Google and you get your results, you typically don't see an image. What we've done with our website is we have coded that in, and it makes our organic search listing more appealing and stand out. In addition, we are also able to take direct bookings through Google's Hotel Finder. This is part of our new booking engine that we talked about last year. We show up among all of the major online tour operator websites, and part of our rate strategy is to offer just a slightly lower rate to get those guests through the door and to book direct. So our efforts with our search engine optimization paired with our search engine marketing really allows us to dominate the top of the search results page. So shaded in red at the top is one of our ads for a search query, Shadowridge. Right below it is the first organic listing, goes directly to our website. And to the right is a fairly new feature with Google. It's called the Knowledge Panel. And what this does is it pulls in images, reviews from numerous travel websites, allows guests to check availability and ultimately book direct. Next is something that I'm really excited about. You may or may not have seen ads on even TV for Vrbo. It was Vacation Rental by Owner. They rebranded last year when they were acquired by Expedia. And they have really started to dominate the short-term rental market. Part of our strategy of joining Vrbo was to drown out our smaller competitors, especially in the Shadowridge building. So we did a pilot on that. It went really well. We saw some great bookings, high dollar, higher rates and booked earlier than a booking that traditionally comes through our website. So we are in the process of actually building every single one of our units on Vrbo. If you haven't already heard from us that your unit is on the platform, you don't need to worry. We'll get in touch with you when your unit is live. Our goal is to have this done by the middle of 2022. And the probably most important thing to take note of with this strategy is that we are actually selling individual units on this platform. People are choosing your actual unit to reserve. So it's really important to book your owner reservations as early as possible so we don't have to move people around or cancel a reservation, because that really hurts our ranking on Vrbo. Up next is something that's not new, but we have certainly improved on this aspect of our marketing in the last year, marketing automation with emails. So we have started to send out a 1-year booking reminder from the day that a person booked in the last year. We send it out and remind them, hey, remember us? Remember last year when you were planning your vacation? It might be time to book again. We've seen a great success with this, with almost 30% open rate. Industry average is 17%. And with the content in these emails, we're seeing almost a 16% open rate, which is great. The content within these emails is highly targeted, and it is relevant to the guests based on their past booking behavior, as well as interests that they have expressed to us through our email subscription process. Similarly, with email marketing, we are also taking steps to ensure that we have a healthy email subscriber list. This is really important. We want to make sure that we're targeting the right people. We're not wasting our efforts emailing people who don't care. So we have 3 stages of re-engagement to make sure that we're staying top of mind with our past guests. And to the right, you can see an example of the type of content that we send out. Now, this can vary based on the user, but we like to invite them to book again and link them over to some of our most popular articles. Looking ahead to the spring and summer, we do have some hurdles that we'll need to overcome, but we are definitely prepared. The guest impacts from the renovation projects are going to be mitigated through our proactive communication. We have the guest guides. We're able to text guests and provide satellite guest service if necessary. That renovation is definitely going to pay off in the long run, so we are very much looking forward to it. Next big one is the Triple Crown Sports Tournament. It's unfortunately looking like it will not be returning next summer. This is a tournament that comes to town every July. It's a 10-night tournament. It brings in a ton of visitors, but unfortunately, the residents of Park City don't feel the same way as we do about it. So City Council is likely to vote that out. So we'll let you know when they decide for sure, probably in our next newsletter. And finally, the base area development that continues to show up in the news, that is still at a standstill. But if it does start next year, it will certainly have some impacts to guest service. But on the bright side, if we do end up having lower occupancy due to renovations or other factors, it's a great time to upgrade your unit. So if that's something you're interested in, our owner services manager, Kate Miller, would be happy to guide you through the process. Now let's jump over to operations. We talked last year in this presentation about how we're going to be able to do self-check-ins with a kiosk. That became a reality last year. It's been a hit. And to be clear, this does not replace a front desk staff member. It certainly facilitates easy check-in, hands-free, but we are still there at the front desk, currently open 8 to 4, weekends till about 10 or 11, depending on occupancy, and in the winter, at least 8 to 10 every day of the week. Feedback on the kiosks, the self-service kiosks, has been great, so we do plan to keep that or something like it in place moving forward. And finally, we'll just do a quick overview of our Shadow Ridge team. We now have a very clear separation on site between HOA staff and rental. Bob Craig is our new on-site supervisor. Bob oversees parking enforcement, issues citations. He also handles property and building inspections and also distributes keys for non-rental owners. Mario is our on-site maintenance manager and has been involved in a lot of the recent projects. Hopefully you've had a chance to meet both of these gentlemen. If you haven't, and you're on site, be sure to stop by. Their offices are downstairs. On the rental side, I think you're probably all familiar with the individuals listed here. The newest of the group, though, is Mike Russell, Director of Maintenance. And I know he has been in touch with many of our rental owners, and we're happy he's joined the team. And that wraps things up for us. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the end, and we wish you a happy, fun, safe Halloween.
Thanks, guys. Happy Halloween.